Alexa, stop Spotify. Hey, everybody. Good morning. How's it going? Hey, Julie, how are ya?
Good.
Hey. Good morning, Veronica. Hello, Allison. Got Brooke with us. Emma's here. Pooja's here. Skyla's here. Hey, Kendall.
Oh, crap. Were we supposed to have cameras?
If you don't have a camera, as long as we can hear you, this is Benjamin, right?
Yep.
Yep, we're good to go. We're good to go. All right, now, first, what I'd like to do is the usual, which is just introduce myself. And then we're going to do a nice little community building exercise, which I know you guys love to do on the first day of class, but it really helps me get to know you guys. So it's very helpful. But my name is Professor Laffey, and I will be teaching this ISS2270 Multicultural Communications. It's one of my favorite courses because it really, in my opinion, is one of the most valuable courses to take. It doesn't matter what your major is. If you can't communicate well in a service economy, you'll fail. And so this course is really going to be structured and designed so when you finish this course that you should be much better at communicating, and you should be much better communicating using the technology that we're kind of being forced into using right now, which is this kind of online type of Zoom interface type of technology. So we're going to get really good at that and we're going to do things as we move through the semester. So I'm a teacher here. I've been at Santa Fe since 2014, but I also taught at the University of Florida for a number of years before that. I'm an anthropologist, I'm an archaeologist. And so when it comes to understanding how culture works and how cultural interfaces work, that's my gig, that's my specialty. And so this course is going to be firmly grounded in anthropological principles and approaches to help us understand how to communicate in a multicultural world, because that's what the world that you guys live in. And so every single one of you is hoping to get a job in a service economy, meaning that you're going to be working in a global community. And it doesn't even matter if you stay right here in Gainesville. Gainesville is also a global community. Everywhere you go is a global community. So if you can get better at talking to people who are not part of your own culture, you're going to be more valuable to any employer that's out there. And so again, this course in my mind is worth your time. And it's also very enjoyable because a lot of the things we can focus on when we learn to communicate are things that we like to talk about and things that are interesting. And so this course should be really good. All right, now let's go ahead and get to know each other a little bit better. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide you guys up into these little breakout rooms, which I know you guys know how to do. But before I divide you guys up into the breakout rooms, first thing, of course, when you guys meet each other, you need to know your names. And so it's always good to let the other person know how to pronounce your name. And that's helpful for me too. But what should we ask the person if we want to get to know them a little bit better?
I would say name, maybe major, pronouns, that type of thing.
Okay, so I like that. Name, what your major is, what your pronouns are, and then let's do something fun. What would be a fun thing to know about each other?
I would say hobbies.
Hobbies are a good one. Okay, so I'll start. So Anne is my name, and I prefer if you call me Professor Laffey in this class until after you're out of this class, and then you can call me Anne. My pronouns are she, her. And then hobbies, oh my gosh, like when we get a chance to do hobbies, I guess I'll have to wait till after I'm done teaching. But for hobbies, I love hiking. I love being outdoors. Actually, Gainesville is a great place to do that. There's so many places you can get out, so many great parks that you can do, so many good springs. I like hanging with my dogs. Sometimes you guys will hear them because they're naughty and they like to bark when it's class time. But that's what I do. All right, you guys ready to be broken up? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to break you guys up. You guys are going to kind of interview each other. When we come back together, you guys are not going to introduce yourselves. You're going to introduce your partners, which sometimes is a little bit easier to do that. Okay. So we're going to do breakout rooms. Let's see if we can get Canvas to cooperate here. Mhm. All right, you should get your invitations. Go ahead and click on those and join your group. I'm gonna give you guys about 2-3 minutes to get your data. Hey guys, we got a few more people. But they've only got 30 seconds left. Hey guys, welcome back.
Mhm.
All right, so you guys ever watch the Brady Bunch? Do I have anyone who's cultured that's watched the Brady Bunch before? Yeah, that's what you guys all look like to me as you're lined up on your little Zoom thing. So we're going to start at the top of the Brady Bunch tower and then go all the way down. So I'm just going to call you guys, and when I do, just introduce one of your partners. All right, so Pooja, will you do me the honor of introducing one of your partners, please?
So my partner was Veronica, and her major is public relations. Her pronouns are she, her, and her hobby is to watch films and analyze them.
Ooh, I love that. I do that all the time. We'll have to talk later about which films you've watched recently, or that she's watched recently. Okay, thank you so much, Pooja. You went first and you did a fantastic job. Veronica, do me a favor. Who's your partner?
Okay, so I had Pooja, and her pronouns are she, her.
She is majoring in political science, and she, as for her hobbies, she likes both making music and listening to music as well.
Ooh, I love that. How do you make music, Pooja?
So basically I have like an old friend of mine, and she really likes writing songs, so I'm kind of like her producer, and then we sing
Oh,
together sometimes, and
oh, you're the money maker. That's good, Pooja.
thank you.
Awesome. Skyla, do me a favor. Will you introduce one of your partners, please?
One of my partners was Emma. Her pronouns are she, her, and she is majoring in animal sciences. She said specifically like equine, like horses and stuff. And her hobbies, like she's really outdoorsy, she said.
Which is good if you're going to work with horses. We don't usually put them inside. That's awesome. And Santa Fe is fantastic for because of our zoo working with animals. It's just one of the best places you can be for that. Emma, do me a favor. Introduce one of your partners, please.
Okay, so one of my partners, Skyla. Her pronouns are she, her, and right now she's majoring in wildlife ecology for to be a possible like conservationist. And in her free time, she enjoys like making pottery, which is one of her recent hobbies.
Ooh, pottery. It's not as easy as it looks, is it? That's one of my pastimes. I do like pottery. David, do me a favor and introduce one of your partners, please.
So my partner was Allison. Her major is accounting. Her pronouns are she, her, and she likes cooking, baking, and working out.
Awesome. Now, David, I'm a stalker here. What's the picture behind you? Is that a friend?
No, it's Don Corleone.
Oh, it's Don Corleone. Oh, we should watch out for you then, David. Okay, that's awesome. So also a film buff of some sort, right?
Yeah,
for the Godfather. Allison, do me a favor and introduce one of your partners.
So my partner was David, and his major is business admin, and his pronouns are he, him, and his hobbies are playing sports and soccer.
Awesome. The real football, right, David? Brooke, do me a favor and introduce one of your partners, please.
My partner was Dalton, and his pronouns are he, him. He's an engineering major, and he likes to make computers.
Ooh, that's a good hobby. You're popular with your friends then, Dalton, I take it.
I mean, yeah, they come to me for help a lot.
Of course they do. Yeah, I have my son is also good, and I feel bad, but I'm always like knocking on his door. Please fix this for me. Gili, do me a favor and introduce one of your partners, please.
Yeah, so my partner was Maria. Her major is health science. Her pronouns are she, her, and some of her hobbies are working out and coffee, which we have in common.
It's a good hobby. I have that hobby as well. And you guys, I have to congratulate your group. You were the most talkative. You were the last ones to come back. So I know you guys were doing a little bit of community building. So I like that. Maria, introduce one of your partners, please.
Yeah, my partner was Andrea, and her pronouns are she, her. Her major is business, preferably marketing. And she really likes the beach and working out, listening to music, like relaxing activities overall.
Nice. That's great. Yep. Thank you, Maria. Jasmine, can you play that guitar?
Yeah, I can.
Ooh, I wish we could make you do it right now. Next time. Yeah. Will you introduce one of your partners, please?
Yeah, I had Kendall Jones, and her major is mechanical engineering. Her pronouns are she, her, and she has hobbies like tinkering, playing with her dog, guitar also, and drums.
Oh, and we've got some musical people. That's so awesome. We'll have to take advantage of that with one of our assignments. Kendall, first of all, I love your room, Kendall. I wish you would decorate mine.
Thank you.
It's really pretty. Would you introduce one of your partners, please?
Yeah, my partner is Jasmine. Her pronouns are she, her. Her major is biomedical engineering, and she plays guitar and piano.
Oh, wow. Awesome, awesome. Andrea, will you do us a favor and introduce one of your partners?
Yes, I had Julie, and she's a he, she, Her pronouns are she, her. She's an anthropology major and she loves coffee and music.
Yeah, so you guys will get along well. I can tell that already. Is it Andrea or Andrea?
Andrea.
Andrea. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay, all right. So Dalton, we're coming back to you, and you look professional. You look like you have like a real mic and stuff. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so I definitely need you to help me. I've got to do a podcast. I'm going to have to rig some of that stuff up. But will you do me a favor, Dalton, and introduce one of your partners?
Okay, I had Brooke, and her pronouns are she, her, and she is a health science major, and her hobbies are working out and running outside.
Awesome. Benjamin, is it Ben or Benjamin?
It's Ben. Both of my partners already introduced each other, so I'm not really sure where to go from there.
Oh my gosh, how did they do that to you? Would you like to introduce yourself then, Ben?
Yes, I'm going into the pre-professional biology program in the University of Florida, and in my eventual pursuit of becoming a doctor. My pronouns are he, him, and I love running and biking and powerlifting, stuff like that. But I also like doing drawing and D&D in my free time.
I like that. You're kind of a Renaissance man. You've got both the sides covered, the physical and the artistic. That's fantastic. All right, guys, thank you so much. You did a fantastic job with that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on the inevitable PowerPoint, and we're going to start breaking down what this class is actually going to be. Because for those of you that have looked at the syllabus, you're probably wondering exactly how we're going to structure this class. So let's take a look at this together and see if we can figure some stuff out here. All right, you guys can see the PowerPoint?
Yee.
Awesome. All right, so what you're seeing here, and if you guys looked at the syllabus already, you've already seen this invitation, but what we're doing this semester is we're doing a flipped and an ungraded course. And I'm going to be assuming that many of you have never taken a flipped or ungraded course. And so that means that I kind of have to explain to you guys what it is that we'll be doing this semester. So if you flip something in the education business, what that means is we will either have a class or an activity, and then we turn it over to student management. It's not entirely turned over to you guys. I still have to be the boss and figure out, which direction we're going to do. But it gives you guys the agency or the control to actually choose assignments that you want to do, structure how you think the course is going to be more productive, and also kind of regulate the behavior within the course as well. And so it gives you guys a lot of power to design a course that you think is going to be valuable to you, which essentially is probably what should be done in all courses, because if it's not useful to you, then you're kind of wasting your time, and that's a lot of time and money that you're spending throughout the semester that you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you get the most bang for your buck out of your education. The second thing that we're going to do in this course is we are going to do something called ungrading. And this is something that's done at a lot of honors colleges. In fact, there's an honors college in Florida called New College, where students don't get grades. They only pass, or they succeed, or they don't succeed, which sounds a little bit terrifying, but it really isn't. And the reason that they do it that way is that they might say to you, you know what, here's the assignment, you've done it, but it could be better if you do A, B, and C, and then you're given the opportunity to do A, B, and C and turn and make the best product that you can actually make. So it's really coming from a growth mindset as opposed to a traditional kind of competitive, you guys kill each other and see who gets to the top kind of thing, which is kind of how we do with grades, right? And so you guys are really familiar with that kind of competition, especially if you're honors students, right? That's kind of what your whole world has been revolved around, getting that extra point, making sure you have that A, because you need that A to get into, for example, if you're going to be a doctor or go into a doctor's program, you can't even get into the program unless you've got a good GPA. But that isn't necessarily conducive to actually learning the material. And oftentimes what happens with students is they'll go through a course, they'll work really hard, they'll get that A, and then you ask them a week later about something to do with the course and they can't remember anything about it because they really didn't learn much. They just kind of memorized short term, did the exam and passed. And that's not really what education should be about. And it's not what you should be investing your time and your money in. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, first of all, why we are kind of structuring the course this way and why it's going to work better for you guys in the long run to kind of think more about your education in a growth mindset as opposed to just hitting that goal of a number. And so you guys are eventually going to be done with this school. I know it seems like it's going to be forever before you're done, but trust me, it'll be there before you know it. And then you're going to be out in the world getting a job. And so what do you think it is that companies are interested in? What competencies do you think companies want from you before you get a job? What do you guys think?
I would say experience.
Yes, they definitely would like experience, which is hard to get sometimes in school, right? Unless you've got kind of an internship.
Yeah.
What else would they like?
I would say leadership. If you had any leadership positions, that would look really good.
Yeah, they want to see if you've demonstrated leadership qualities, especially for the jobs that you guys are going to get. You guys don't want the jobs that you're not going to be the boss. You guys are interested in these careers. That's what you guys want. And when you're in a career, you are almost certainly going to be in a position of leadership. So any type of leadership demonstrations that you have are going to be great for your CV or your resume. What else do you guys think companies want from you?
Confidence
They
and
also really, oh, sorry.
sorry, no, you go ahead.
Okay. They also really like if you speak more than one language, preferably Spanish.
Yes, they do. And especially in the United States, they love it if you speak Spanish because we have a lot of Spanish speakers here, a lot of bilingual speakers. And so they will love that. And if you want to work globally, if you can speak Chinese, if you can speak French, if you can speak German, if you speak any of these, they're going to be really happy about that. Anything else you think they would like to have from you guys?
Competence
Maybe
in
like
study and the ability to work well with others.
Yes, they want to know that you can work well with others because a lot of the things that you guys are going to be doing are team-based. And so, for example, if you're a doctor, even though you're the doctor, is that a team-based activity?
Generally so.
It's always, right? You're always working with your staff. You're always working with patients. You're not going to get patients that are all from the same culture. And everybody has to work, especially in healthcare, got to work together as a team, because if you're not functioning as a team, it's going to equal a poor health outcome, poor healthcare outcomes. And so everything you guys do is essentially going to be teamwork. So let's take a look here, because I've got some data for you guys. And so this data comes from the National Association of Colleges and Employers. And this is actually from a book, an ungrading book, which I've actually read a little bit about this. I'm not throwing you guys into this without doing my research. But you'll see here that what companies want is they really want you to be able to have teamwork abilities and collaboration abilities. They want you to know how to use digital technology, which is important in a global service economy. They want you to be able to critically think and problem solve. They want you to have a good work ethic, which is something that's sometimes hard to display on a CV. They need you to have good oral written communications. They want you to demonstrate leadership. And they also want you to be able to think about your career and how you're going to actually manage your career. And so you'll see here, if we're looking at this data here, this is the percentage that the employers rated how important it was for students to have this. And, and then also on the other side over here, you see what they believe as far as what they're getting as far as proficiency. And so over here, you'll see that teamwork, they want to have a high degree of teamwork. And they thought that of the new hires they had, that only 70 to 77% of individuals that they hired could actually demonstrate a good teamwork or collaboration. So you're seeing a little bit of difference in what employers want and what they think they're actually getting. And so there's a little bit of discrepancy here, what it is they want and what they think they're getting. So let's look at more data that I have here. And so now what we're looking at is employer ratings of recent college graduates. Let's take a look at this data right here. And if we look at this table right here, we can see the same competencies listed over here. And these are the percentages of employers who rate their recent hires or their graduates proficient. And then they've compared that to what the students actually think about their proficiency. And you can see, again, there's this, it's a big disjuncture. For example, if we look at teamwork and collaboration, the new hires that are considered to be proficient by the company are about 70% of their hires, where 90% of the employees or the students think that they're good at teamwork and collaboration. So there's a 20% difference in what these new hires are thinking their skills are and what their employers actually think their skills are. And so you can look here and you can see kind of a discrepancy all the way down. And digital technology, though, that's not too bad, right? So that's kind of close. And so the proficiency that students think they have and what employers rate kind of matches up. That's not horrible. But if we look at critical thinking and problem solving, that's a big discrepancy. And so 94% of students believe themselves to be good critical thinkers, but their employers would say, not so much. And that's a big, big difference. Same thing with professionalism, right? Professionalism, it's very different what students think and what the new graduates think and what employers actually think about their professionalism. Big difference in oral written communications. Global influency is also a difference, and we're going to work on that in this course. All these categories we're going to work at. And then also career management. Students, about less than half of students think they're proficient in career management. It's hard to know in this economy too, how to manage a good career because things are changing so quickly. But employers really rate that really low. And so only less than 20% of employees that come in really are kind of good at managing their careers. And so they're kind of short-term thinkers versus long-term career thinkers. And so we can see, if we look at this data, that if we want to develop a college course, we should develop a college course that is strong in teamwork and collaboration. We should develop a course that is strong in critical thinking and problem solving. And we need to have all of these elements that are in what employers want, and then help you guys become more proficient in each of these categories. And so flipping and ungrading are two strategies that we can use to really strengthen ourselves in every single one of these categories. And so that's why we're kind of taking this approach in this course. All right, now the course is multicultural communications. And so when you guys signed up for this course, what did you guys think it was going to be? Or what should it be?
I guess effectively communicating with people that are maybe from a different culture than you are.
Yeah, so Emma's like going to go for it. And she's like, you know what, we're just going to learn how to talk to people that are of different cultures. And that in and of itself actually is a perfectly fine goal. If we look at the course description, we can see that it adds a little bit more detail to the same thing that Emma said. It just kind of extrapolates on the same principle. And so we're supposed to be learning about how individuals from different cultural and national backgrounds attempt to communicate with each other. But the skills that you guys are supposed to pick up are skills that will allow you to understand what you should do if there's a clash between cultures, how you can actually shed light on attitudes that might seem disruptive and kind of flip that and turn it into something that's constructive. You are supposed to be acquiring knowledge about different cultures and ethnic groups and also minorities and learning about worldviews. So there's a lot of things that are kind of tacked on to the initial goal that Emma points out for multicultural communications. All right, now let's have some fun, and we're going to kind of label ourselves. And so you guys know how to use the chat section, right? All right, so what you can see here is a handy dandy little thing that kind of lays out what an introvert, characteristics of introverts are, and characteristics of extroverts. And so what I'd like you to do is reveal a little bit of personal information in the chat section and just tell everybody which one you are. Are you an introvert or are you an extrovert? And everybody just type it right in the chat section. It's not letting me see. out. Oh, there we go. Okay, for some reason Zoom was not going to show me what it was. And let's just take a quick inventory. Let's look and see. Okay, so if we look at the chat section, we can see that we've got a really good mix in this class. We've got almost kind of 50-50 between introverts and extroverts. And so that is going to make our lives really good. And this quick little survey that we did is something that national corporations will do before they actually form teams. And ideally, especially if you're in a marketing or a communication type of business, they would like to have both an extrovert and an introvert on the team to really help them communicate well, because communicating to an extrovert is very different than it might be if you're communicating with an introvert, and they have some different types of skills. And so that's kind of good that we have that data, because you guys are going to be working on kind of restructuring this entire syllabus for the entire course. And so instead of coming into the course and I'm just telling you what we're going to do for this semester, you guys are going to have an active role in actually writing this syllabus up. And so the first thing is, you can see here, when you're writing a syllabus up, it is a document of communication. First and foremost, that's what it actually is. And so when you develop a syllabus, you should keep these 6 things in mind. And every syllabus that you guys get from one of your professors, they should be thinking about all 6 of these categories. And so you guys now, because you're in control of the syllabus, you have to consider these 6 categories as you're editing the syllabus. And so the first thing is that the syllabus should be learning focus. What types of activities are in there which are really going to help you learn the material, as opposed to just memorizing it and then forgetting it the next week. And so that means you have to choose assignments that will help you achieve your learning outcomes in a way that's going to be meaningful and productive. The second thing is, you need to know what the essential questions are. And so we just went over what we think multicultural communications should actually be about. But you guys will notice when you get into the syllabus that I've given you learning outcomes for each of the modules. And we are going to keep this course divided up into 7 modules. And so you should look at those learning outcomes, and every assignment that's associated with those learning outcomes should help you actually learn that and demonstrate that you actually understand the concept that's associated with each of the modules. All right, you'll see number 3, you're aiming for UDL connections. And you guys may have never heard of that before, but these are universal design that you're looking for. And you can't really see the writing really well, but you don't have to. But what you can see in this is you can see it's lighting up different parts of the brain. This has to do with something that we call metacognition. And this is how you actually learn. And you'll hear people say things, for example, they'll say, oh, I'm a visual learner. That's baloney. We're all visual learners. And the reason that we're all visual learners is if you look at this part of the brain here, and back here, the visual cortex, it's one of the largest parts of the brain and one of the most powerful parts of the brain. And so we all, if we can put things into drawings or draw concepts out, we are going to be more likely to remember it because we're using a really powerful part of our brain to do so. But there are other activities like music and things that will stimulate the front part of your brain. And so once in a while, you guys may have a long string of facts to remember. And you guys know there's a trick you can do. You can turn it into a song, or you can turn it into a mnemonic and kind of rhyme it. That means that information is going to be put up here in this part of your brain. And then here, what you got here, this has to do with like an auditory tract. So if you read something aloud, it's going to stimulate this part of your brain. But what MIT, or the Massachusetts Institution of Technology, knows is that if you're really trying to learn some intense material, if you can hit all 3 parts of this brain with presenting the information in different ways, that's the universal part of this, you are more likely to be able to recall it later when you need to and actually learn the material that you need to know. And this is an important concept for students to know, because if you are going to be a physician or you're going to go into conservation, there are some knowledge, parts of knowledge that you just have to know and be able to recall like that. And if you are cognizant of the fact that you need to approach it in this universal way, it'll help you actually remember the material that you need to remember. All right, 4. Have you guys ever read a syllabus and thought to yourself, I don't understand what this professor is talking about at all? Does that ever happen? Yeah, you're going to look at my syllabus and you're going to say that pretty soon. You're going to be reading my syllabus. And in my mind, I think it's so very clear. And it is to me, because anthropology is my job. And so it's very clear to me. But it might not be that clear to you. And that's another reason why a flipped classroom and letting you guys construct the syllabus is so productive, because when you guys edit those parts of the syllabus, you guys are actually going to be putting it in language that students can actually understand. And so part of your job when you're reviewing the syllabus is, again, to make it inclusive. Make sure that a freshman, undergraduate, can actually understand what's being presented in the syllabus. And so you're going to be taking some of the language in that syllabus and you're going to be changing it so it actually is a little bit more inclusive. 5, supportive course policies. Those you're going to see, that's in the last part of the syllabus. And that has to be changed a little bit too, to kind of reflect our new environment. So some of the things on the syllabus are based on in-class, on campus, and we need to restructure those in a way that's going to be productive for our Zoom format. And then last but not least is something that's called accessible design, which is something that you guys aren't going to have to worry about so much as you guys are editing it. But accessible design means that when you are putting something on Canvas, for example, a video, that it is going to be closed caption for students who might, for example, have hearing difficulties. And so accessible design means that you are making sure that whatever you produce, including a syllabus, is going to be accessible to students who might have other types of challenges like sight or hearing disabilities. All right, so that's your lofty goal. You applying these 6 principles of an inclusive syllabus to redoing the syllabus. So let's take a look at the syllabus. And so let's take a look here. I'm going to close this out here. And I am going to actually go to Canvas right now. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. That's okay. I've got to copy the syllabus on my desktop. I think the internet's on tilt because it's the first day of class. That's okay though. Let's go ahead and pull this syllabus up. There we go. Okay, so here we go. This is your first job, is to actually redo this syllabus. And you'll see when you download this draft syllabus, it's on Canvas, bright big letters in caps, you'll see it says syllabus. You are going to have sections, and you guys are already divided up into teams. So if you go into Canvas and you look at people, you will notice that there's a blue team and there's also a yellow team. So if you go in there, you'll have to kind of go in your section, which belongs with you. And so half of you are going to be working on half of the syllabus, and the other half of you are going to be working on the other half of the syllabus. So for example, if you're team yellow, you can see here that this is your section, right? So you're going to start with the course description. And so for those of you that are on team yellow, you can see of those 6 principles, in this one here, what you really need to concentrate on is making sure that this is inclusive, right? So this is just a text that kind of tells the student what the course is about. You need to go through the language and you need to make sure that it's actually inclusive. And so then we pop on down here. If you're in the blue team, you guys are going to be redoing this section right here. You'll notice that I've given you guys in like little hints in red. And so you can use those little hints in red to really kind of see what it is you should be focusing on. But if you have any questions, and I know you guys are going to have questions, you guys are going to be able to kind of shoot me a little communication, and I'm going to be on those and helping you guys immediately. All right, so how is this going to work? You guys are going to be able to hook up together in Canvas under your team section. And if I were, you'll notice that there are team leaders. And so let's just make sure I see one of my team leaders. So congratulations, Pooja, you're a team leader for Team Yellow. Yay. And the reason that I had you guys do the introvert extrovert exercise is that what you want to do is for every team leader that's been randomly chosen, if the team leader is an extrovert, they need a co-team leader that's an introvert. And if they're an introvert, they need to pick someone from their team who's an extrovert. So we have two co-team managers, one who's an introvert and one who's an extrovert, so they can work together to kind of get this syllabus edited, and you guys are going to be presenting it. All right, so Allison, are you with me? I knew that was going to happen. All right, so we're going to, this is Team Blue, and Ben, you're here. Yeah, congratulations. You are now going to be the team leader for Team Blue. And so when you guys have your first meeting, you just need to find whoever is your complement, right? So if you're an extrovert, you need to find an introvert, and vice versa. All right, so let's keep going because we only have a few minutes left, and I want to make sure you guys know what the heck you're actually going to be working on. So you can see this whole thing. There's a lot of red here for course schedule. That's the blue team. Course schedule is one of the juiciest parts of the syllabus because you are actually determining whether or not you're going to be doing certain exercises, what the workload is going to be like for this semester, and how many credits is this course worth.
Wait. We get to determine how many credits this course is worth?
No, but I'm asking you, how many credits is it worth?
I think it's 2.
It's 2. Okay. So as you guys are putting together what things we're going to be working on over the semester, you've got to keep that in mind. So the workload should not be so you're not doing anything, because that's not going to happen, because I'm assure you're going to be doing something this semester, but it shouldn't be so much that it's too much for a 2-credit course. So keep that in mind as you guys are building. You'll notice that I've left some old assignments on the schedule, and I've just left those on there so you guys don't have to completely start from scratch. And so I don't want you guys to be completely intimidated and have nothing to work with to kind of build this syllabus, because trust me, building a syllabus is a big deal. It takes a lot of time and a lot of thought. But you will notice that for module 1, that's going to be the first couple weeks of this course, that this is what we're doing. We are developing a syllabus, and that is the ultimate art form of multicultural communication, because when you're building a syllabus for a course, you can just assume that you're going to have students from lots of different cultures coming together. And so this assignment in itself is a fantastic way to kind of start off multicultural communications. You'll see the first one here is what is culture. This lecture is not optional. You're stuck with this one. And so this one I'm going to give you guys. And the reason that it's not optional is that I need to kind of lay out for you very clearly how culture works within communication systems. And so you need that foundation and that platform to kind of bounce off for the rest of the topics. The third module, and this is proposed, you guys can move these around if you want to. The third module is language, and I would hope that we will have these be student-led lectures. I will be providing all of the materials for this, and so you guys will not be preparing this from scratch. You will have the materials, I will provide them for you, and I will actually meet with you guys to kind of help you with different types of concepts. But part 1 it's the nuts and bolts of linguistics, and part 2 are kind of exercises and explorations in cross-cultural differences in communication, especially those in between societies that are collectivist versus individualist. And if you don't know what that is yet, don't worry, we're gonna get to that. All right, so you'll see with each of these modules, these are the learning objectives. So as you guys are working together as a team, you need to make sure that whatever assignments are here really match up well with the learning objectives? Are they really going to help students demonstrate that they know about the concept? And is it going to be something that they can do in a reasonable amount of time? And you want to make sure that they're getting a lot of bang out of their buck for whatever assignment that you're proposing that we do as a class. Also over here, you'll see this note right here. It says chapter 1, chapter 2. When I've taught this course previously, I actually assigned a book, right? Which I have, and I can give it to you guys. And so we actually read the entire book over the course of the semester, and we actually had discussions about the book. Now the book is in Canvas, and you guys can look at it. And it's going to be up to you guys. You're going to look at the book and you're going to think to yourself, do I want to read this book? Do I want to have a discussion about this book? Or no, I don't. And instead, I want to do something else. So you're going to have the option to really think about what your reading materials are going to be for this course as well. And I'm going to I'm not sending you out there blind. I'm going to give you a nice folder full of alternative type of reading sources as well. It doesn't mean that you have to pick reading sources from these alternative reading sources. You can find reading sources of your own. But again, remember, whatever you suggest that we do together has to relate well to the overall learning objective. All right. You will also see that I have given you guys lecture promos in the Canvas section. And so you guys will be able to click on the lecture promos and you'll be able to see, and these are lectures that I can give. And so you guys can decide if you want me to give you a lecture, or if you'd rather do student presentations, or if you'd rather have in-class discussions. Really, you guys can be as creative as you want. You just simply have to honor the learning objectives. But these lectures are available, and they often come with complimentary assignments as well, which you guys will have access to as you're building the syllabus. All right, now, this may seem intimidating, but don't have to worry, because we have 2 weeks to do this. And so we have plenty of time to do this. And we're going to dive in and we're going to do it. And what you're going to do is, when we get together next time, is I'm going to give you class time to work together in your teams. And you're going to start editing your sections. You're going to start strategizing as to what members of the team are going to do what. And then after you do that on our next class section, the next week, you guys are going to present your proposals for your parts of the syllabus. So next time we get together, for example, if you're the blue team, you guys are going to be strategizing, and you're going to be getting your 2 co-leaders together. Then you're going to be dividing and conquering. What team member is going to do what part of the syllabus is what you guys are going to be doing. And then you should work together as a team to kind of figure out how the different parts are going to work together, right? Because the whole syllabus has to work together as one. So I'm anticipating that you guys will be doing a lot of back and forth, which again, you'll be able to use the Canvas section that already has you divided up in groups. But I would also recommend to the team leaders that you also kind of create a good communication network with your team. If you have to gather texts, so you guys can text each other, just ways that you can reach each other to make this a little bit easier, because this is a job that's going to be hard to do if you do not work together as a team. So I'm going to stop here, because you guys are probably completely bewildered. And I just want to open it up for questions. What are your questions so far? And do you feel like you guys kind of know what you're going to be doing?
I have no idea what the heck I'm doing, but how do I see my other blue team members?
When you go into Canvas, can you do that now, Benjamin?
Yes, I'm looking at people like you said,
Yeah.
but I don't see anything.
Yeah, and there should be groups. Do you see the groups thing?
Hold on. Oh, now I see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it takes a minute because it's not intuitive. It doesn't pop up. It's the teeny little tab, right? And so when you click on groups, can you see your team members now?
Yes.
Yes. And what you will notice in the groups section as well is that there are ways you can contact the other team members. And so you guys can actually use that area as a way to talk to each other and share files and things like that.
Okay, and what exactly is the Jello assignment about? like?
Oh, well, if you read through the syllabus, it will tell you where you can find the Jello information. And that's a really important assignment. And so the Jello, there's a link on the syllabus, which takes you to the Santa Fe website, which actually gives you the rubric that's on there. Where am I at here? Here we go. Where's the part where it tells you how to get to the Jello? Here we go. All right, so in section 2, you'll see every course has a Jello, right? And ours is multicultural and global awareness, which makes sense because we're multicultural communication. This link right here, Ben, takes you right to the college where it actually gives you the rubric, right? So Jello assignments are actually assessed by outside entities anonymously. And so I might, as an instructor, I might get a note from my boss saying, you know what, I want you to send me Dalton and Emma's Jello. And then I send it, but it's anonymous. Your name's not on it. So there's no name attached to it. It's not ever going to come back to haunt you as far as your grade. But what they do with this is they actually have committees which assess how well students and instructors are actually aligning. In other words, here's the instructions I gave you as a professor, and here's the student, and here's the product that the student produced. And how does this product show that we are actually meeting our educational goals or our learning outcomes for a course? This is one of the ways that Santa Fe College actually maintains its top 10 ranking. And so I don't know if you guys know this, but Santa Fe College is actually top 10 colleges in the United States. And this is one of the ways that we maintain it, by keeping track of how well we're actually teaching our students. And so a Jello assignment is really important because it has to demonstrate that connection between the student and the teacher. And so if you click on this, Ben, it'll take you to the rubric, but also I've added this from the website too. And so these are the expectations from the Jello that the college has, that students will analyze data and information, they will synthesize data, they will use data and apply it to draw conclusions, propose solutions, and make decisions, all in response to multicultural and global awareness. But that's exactly where you find that information.
Right, I got you. Thank you.
Yeah, that was too much information, but you got it now, Ben. Any other questions?
Me. When you said we had to present when our group is done, we're presenting as a group, or as like what each person took from their group, like their work.
Ooh, that's a really good question, Julie. So that depends on what your group actually decides. Okay, so you could, as a team, decide, you know, Julie's going to do this part of the syllabus, so-and-so is going to do this part of the syllabus, and you could present it individually. Now, there's a risk for that. If you guys don't match, right? If things don't match up and things aren't connected, that could be a potential problem. So what you might want to do, if you decide that everyone's going to do theirs separately, is to make sure that you guys have arranged some time to get together to make sure that everybody's kind of aligns, right? I think that would be a good thing to do. And that'll be something that you guys work out as a team. Good question. Anything else, guys?
Is there anything we should be doing between now and class on Thursday?
Yes, Veronica, that's a really good question. If I were a student and I knew that I had to edit this and I knew what team I was on, I would go ahead and look over the parts of the syllabus that I'm responsible for, and I would start thinking about ideas and proposals. So when we get together on class on Thursday, you guys are ready to go. You should already have notes prepared, and you should be ready to talk about the different sections and the direction that you think you want to see the course go in. And in order to do that, you'll need to go into the modules and you'll need to look at the materials that are there already. And so you're not even going to be ready to talk about stuff if you don't kind of look at the Jello assignments that were given previously in this course, and you don't look at the lecture proposals. And so your job before we get together on Thursday is to really go through the Canvas material that's there in the module section, and also take a good look at the syllabus that you're going to be responsible for editing. Good question. Now, you guys don't have to worry about presenting until next week, right? So this week is really going to be devoted into strategizing how you guys are going to attack this, looking at the materials and thinking about the assignments that you actually want to do over the course of the semester, and then just really figuring out how you can align those things with the learning objectives.
I have a question about the course schedule.
Yes.
So I know that's assigned to the blue team, but you know how you said that for the lectures, like we can decide if we want like you to lead it or like us students to lead it. Well, does only the blue team decide that, or does
you know, wouldn't that be awful if it was really only the blue team, don't you think? So what's going to happen is once you guys do your part of it, it's going to be flipped. And